I was an athlete.
You want to have a choice of seats?
I prefer. Let's see.
Which is your best side?
I mean, all my sides are good, so we're good. I like this one. This one's nice.
This is not my best side.
I don't think you have a good best side.
Michael Bennett, welcome to the Social Innovation Summit.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
So I did some research on you, and I read that you are a strong supporter of women's equality. But then I read that you live in a house with a wife and 3 daughters.
Yeah.
Did you really have much of a question on that issue?
No, not really. I think women's rights is super important. I think as a man and being in a powerful position that I am in, a lot of times when I tell other people that I have 3 daughters, they always see it as an insult to me. The fact that they say, oh, you have 3 daughters, you need to get your shotgun. It shows me that women aren't seen equal as men. And because that's always something that people bring up to me, I'm always like, I need to make sure that women have the equal opportunities, make sure they have rights, and make sure they have the chances. If you look in the world, 98 million women or girls are not in school. 1 in 3 women are going to experience some type of domestic abuse along the way. So there's so many things that women don't get a chance to be a part of. And so as a father of 3 daughters, I want to make sure that using my platform to always give women the opportunity to do anything that they want to do. I believe that women can do things better than men. Obviously, there's always been women that lead the path. If you look in the civil rights movement, there was always women who were the backbone of the movement. So any great movement, you look at Coretta Scott King, Ella Baker, you look at Angela Davis, everybody, there's always been women who have led the path to the future. So I just want to invest in that and give women the opportunity and know that there's men. I feel like when there's a problem, the people from the other side who aren't part of the problem that is going on, they need to step up and speak up. So as a man, I feel that men need to speak up upon women's rights and make sure that it is men who are saying that women need to be seen equal. So that's...
Well, I think you've gained a few female supporters here today. You are known as one of the more outspoken players in the NFL. When you believe in something, you believe in it passionately and with all your heart and soul. Where did that trait come from? How did you find your voice?
I think I grew up in the South between Louisiana and Texas, and everybody in my family is they're super outspoken. My grandmother, if you look bad that day, she's definitely gonna tell you look bad. And my father, my mother, she has a master's degree from Grambling State University. So I've always had a voice to be able to speak up on things that are going on. And I feel like when you're in a position as an athlete and there's things going on socially or things that are going on in the world, people are listening to you. This is the only time in the world where you can have a phone with between 10 people and be able to reach 50 million people with your voice and what you believe in. So I know that there's kids looking up to me and there's people that's looking up to me to make sure that I'm not just motivating people, that I'm inspiring them to see that there's things that's going on and we need to get involved. And that's just how I look at it.
You recently made an announcement, you actually made headlines by saying that you were going to donate 100% of your sponsorship dollars to charity and 50% of your jersey sales. By the way, any Seattle Seahawks fans any Seahawks fans? I think there's one right there. And 50% of your jersey sales to charity, and I think you also challenged other players to follow your lead. Why did you make that announcement public, and what were you hoping to accomplish by such a bold statement?
Well, because brands and companies, they take so much from the communities when the customers and the consumers are buying things, but it's very rare that the companies give back to the communities. So I wanted the companies to feel like if you're giving in to me and believing in the process of Michael Bennett and knowing the man that he is and how he is in the community, believe that if you invest in me, that I'm going to invest in the community. And I believe that if kids and people are given the opportunity to be able to have the right means and have the right books, have the right food, that they'll make the right choices. And I want companies to feel that they should have an obligation to give back. And that when I'm in a position, I want kids to see that there's somebody that believes in them. I think that when you are in a position that I'm in, kids need to see that you're real. They need to see that you believe in them. They need to know that their heroes are the people that want to invest in them. It's not just the people. I believe in the organic leader, and I think that when you organic like that and the community feels you and they feel that you're a part of them and they feel that you're giving back, it'll just inspire kids. My whole outlook on life and my whole goal is to inspire kids to know that when they get in a position, it is necessary for them to go back to their communities and help rebuild. And I believe when I'm in a position right now to be able to leverage my brand with companies and bring those companies back into our communities and rebuild it, whether it's science, whether it's technology, and all my 100% is going to women's STEM programs. I believe in minority STEM programs, and I'm doing projects in Africa right now, doing projects locally in Haiti, Seattle, just in giving women and kids and girls the opportunity to have science. I mean, to have a seat at the table, to be innovative, and know that if they had those things and seeing them and building up these programs has just been a great thing for me personally.
Are those applause for you or both of us?
I don't know.
So,
not you.
No.
You get applause all the time.
Nobody even knows me here. Listen, from what I just heard you say, you would contradict that famous commercial that Charles Barkley made saying, "I am not a role model."
You are a role model. I'm an inspiration. See, it's a difference between inspiration and motivation. Like when I'm playing in the game, the fans, they love me because I'm playing in the game. When I'm in the community, the people that see me, it's different, it's hope. It's that they are seeing somebody like them that's coming back to give them the opportunity to know that when they get that chance, they're gonna do the same thing. So I believe in creating that hope and that constant conversation when I'm there. And I believe in it organically, not in a way where it's always about money. It's about your time too. So I spend almost all my time, me and my wife, all our time pretty much, and my kids in the communities, working with different programs to be able to show them that there is somebody that looks like them and there is somebody that believes in them.
There was a 12-year-old girl here yesterday morning named Marley, who is one of the most sophisticated 12-year-old girls you've ever met in your life, whose project was to create a program where she sent around 100,000 books with black girls as characters in it. You know her better.
Yeah.
She was here yesterday on the stage.
I know, I saw that. Were you with her?
You would be proud of her? I wasn't with her.
I'm proud of her. I'm proud of, because that is what you want. You want the young people, because the young people are who control the world in the future. Old people are set in their ways, no offense to old people in the crowd, but it's young people. It's young people who change society. Those are, when you see young people like that inspiring, doing different things, they motivate other kids their age to step up, to have that conversation, also create new opportunities for kids at their age and things that they have the problem with. Because the problem that they're dealing with is the problem that they're dealing with. We don't see the problem that they have. A lot of people don't know that there's not a lot of people that's not African American, they don't know that there's not books that see young black girls in them. They don't know that. They don't know that when you go to the aisle in Target, you don't see black Barbies. That's just something that you don't see unless you're involved in it. So to bring that conversation to everybody to start having awareness is very important.
You mentioned the word heroes in the last paragraph. Tell me who some of your heroes were growing up and some of your role models.
I think my father, first of all, I think my father is somebody that's a role model to me. Obviously, every day in my home, I got a chance to, him and my mother, I got a chance to live with my heroes. I mean, my mother, she grew up in a rough neighborhood in a small town in Louisiana, and to go from that to graduate with a master's degree and be speaking on education for her whole life is something that's very inspiring. My father, the same thing. He had me at 17, and for me to be in this place, it's just amazing. I could have been in so many different places. My father could have gave up and been like, you know what, I'm too young to have these kids. I could walk away, but my father stayed there and made sure that I'm the man that I am today. So my father and my mother are my true inspirations. And besides that, Muhammad Ali, Angela Davis, all those people like that, people that have been through the fire, people that understand what it feels like to be ridiculed when you're in a position of power. Because no matter what, when you speak up on different things, there's going to be somebody that's going to disagree with you. simply because they just disagree. They don't like what you're saying. They don't like that you're influencing the youth, and you trying to change what society has kept the same the whole time. And I feel like those are the people that inspire me, because even now, being an athlete, the guideline of being an athlete has been set. You know what I mean? There's the Michael Jordans, there's LeBron James, and there's this way of doing things. And now there's athletes, and we don't have this platform, and we want to change the way things, change the rhetoric and the narrative of how it's been. Now we don't want to eat McDonald's anymore, because we know that we eat McDonald's, we say we eat McDonald's, kids are going to eat McDonald's. We don't want to drink Coca-Cola. We don't want to be involved in things that our kids are going to be influenced by. So we want to take our platform and make sure that we are always speaking the truth, and knowing that our influence is farther than just the dollars. It's in the soul of kids, and to make sure that when we're doing that, that we take notice to the kids that we're inspiring.
You have no idea how many of the previous speakers you're channeling in what you're saying. I mean, you really have the right audience here.
I know, it's the truth. It's the belief in people, and believing that when you have the platform, to make sure that you take hold of, and you make sure that you take hold of what you're doing, take hold of the community, and make sure that you're that organic leader, not the leader that just steps up and says one thing, but the leader that gets his hands dirty, the leader that speaks about the issues, the leader that's stepping on the stage and is okay with people tearing down his character because they simply disagree. But if you believe in something, you got to go the long distance.
We just heard Carly Fiorina this morning speak about leadership on this stage, and she said many of the things that you're saying right now. She must have called you when she got off stage.
I was like, I'm going to say the same thing you said.
Exactly. I gave her your number. You have a younger brother, I think, that plays in the NFL. Were you his role model?
I think I am. I think I have been his role model. I think as a big brother, it's funny that you asked me that question, because me and my wife were talking about this the other day, and we were talking about when you're the older sibling and you don't really understand how much your brothers and sisters look up to you. And I think my brother obviously looks up to me because of the things that I do. I see it in his nature. I see it in his character as he grows as a man, the things that he's speaking about, the things that he's able to talk about, and the things that he's doing, and the way that he's changing the community. I'm very proud of him. I'm very proud to be able to inspire my brother, but my brother also inspires me. I think my brother is a very different character. I think in the world of being an athlete, you've always been told what to do, not to think like this, not to do this, because you're not taking football serious. And it's not very often that people in the athletes are able to find out who they truly are. I mean, a lot of times my brother knows who he truly is. He's a creative individual, not just as an athlete, but as a businessman, as a director, as a movie director, a book writer, author, all those things that he does. It inspires me because he takes his dreams and he makes them come true. And not a lot of people are willing to do that, to really put everything that they believe in and make it come true.
Let's talk about the Michael Bennett Family Foundation for a moment. So your foundation is tackling an issue that's of absolutely vital concern to the future health of our nation. It's that big an issue. Tell this audience a little bit about the foundation, why you chose that issue, and some of the things that you're doing as a result of it.
I chose this issue, and like I said, things happen organically, and this happened organically. I happened to get invited to a meeting in Honolulu about obesity and the problem with food in the community of Hawaii, and there was a lot of different people from all over Hawaii trying to find the issues, trying to find out what they can do to make a difference. And it was making me mad, because I was one of those kids that they were talking about. I'm like, wait, is this how decisions are made about kids? Is this how decisions are made about people? And this is how they speak about them? So in that room, I was just getting furious, and I went home and I told my wife, I was like, look, I want to do something. I want to figure out how to involve kids and talk about obesity and find about a way to bring fresh products and produce and build gardens in communities. And my wife was like, let's just do it. And so that's how my thing started, and we came up with the acronym of fighting obesity through community education, activity, and nutrition. So we built everything around that, and everything we do, we do a lot of work with the detention centers with kids in jail, and teaching kids about growing garden and giving them the opportunity to have some responsibility and understand that everything that they grow is coming from the earth. This is their product, and we do a lot of things and then we talk about community. Everything we do is around community. We try to do as much as we can and build the community up to make sure that everybody's involved, because it's not just the parents, It's not just the kids, it's everybody that's involved in that community, the police, the fire department. Everybody needs to be involved in the nutrition and the health of that community. So that's what we focus on a lot. And we built our program around, we wanted to not just do it on a monthly basis or just a yearly basis. We want to build an in-school program. So that's what we're focusing on now. We've done that. We have hired our curriculum. We're working with charter schools to be able to use the different communities that we work with, using their culture, their values, everything around them, because we just don't want to come in and just be like, boom, this is what you think. And my wife is very passionate about that. She's one of those people, she's like, we just can't give something to them. We have to be able to go in and find out what do they need. And that's the thing that we've learned along this journey. What is the process of finding out what people need to implement those things? And that's all we've been doing. So we just very embedded in our communities and every community we do. So, and the way that we try to do things is we try to do stuff in our city, something national, then something global. And so we do a lot of things on that level. So we do our things in the cities where we work with Houston, work with Seattle, we work with Honolulu, we work with South Dakota and the Native tribes. We do a lot of stuff like that.
So speaking of doing things, this is a room full of some of the biggest movers and shakers in the whole world. Truly. I'm not exaggerating. So
you could be exaggerating, but
I'm not exaggerating.
I'm going to trust you at this time, but okay. We just met and everything.
I could pick them out by name if you want.
No.
But if you could make an ask of this audience collectively, this audience of movers and shakers who are here because they believe in social innovation, they believe in changing the world, what would that ask be?
I would ask everybody in the room to close their eyes. Everybody close their eyes.
Me too.
You too. I would ask everybody to close their eyes and just envision themselves as those kids and those people that you're trying to change their life. And imagine a kid that's in Africa that has to walk 20 miles. You have no shoes. You don't even know what you're going to eat. But as you walk, you know that if you get to that school, your life will be changed. You're in the inner city of Chicago. You look in, there's gun violence. There's people dying all around you. What are you supposed to do? Are you supposed to give up? But I want you guys to open your eyes and continuously be the people that are innovative and take your job serious. Always remembering those steps that even though when you're talking in your groups, remember that everything you say is an actual thing. There's actual people living through the things that we're trying to change. So never forget that process of always remembering the things that they're going through. Like one of my best friends, Cliff Averill, we went to Haiti and we were building the schools and we were feeding the kids, and all I can remember was the process every day when my kids go to school. Now it's like there's kids that were walking 20 miles to get to school. One kid drowned. He drowned for opportunity. So it's us to remember that there's kids out there that we have to continuously build these communities. We have to continuously help. And I just ask that everybody challenge themselves to put themselves in that position every single day when you wake up. Challenge yourself to be better. Challenge yourself, am I really doing as much as I can, or am I just talking? Those are things that I do every day. I challenge myself every single day, not just on this level, because this is just a part of me, but my family, being the best husband I could be, the best father I can be, and the best person I could be. So always challenge on ourselves to be better than the day before. And that's the hardest thing to do as a human being.
Who writes your stuff?
My wife writes it, not good.
You are good. Last question. You're still young.
Yeah, in football years, I'm like 60. But in real life, I'm 32, so it's like, so.
But you've had some pretty amazing accomplishments already in your life. Thus far to this point, what's been your greatest accomplishment, and what do you want your legacy to be?
I think my greatest accomplishment now is transcending sports. I think as an athlete, you always get stuck in this box, and people only want to talk to you about, what about that game in 2007? What about that game in 2014 or 15 when Pete Carroll didn't hand the ball off? Everybody wants to talk about
Run the ball.
Yeah, run the ball.
Run the ball.
To be able to have conversation about the things that in the communities that I'm doing, I think that's the legacy that I want, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter about records. Records are meant to be broken. Every single record is meant to be broken. No matter how many records there are in the NFL, how many touchdowns you score, people aren't going to remember that. People are going, I don't want when I die, the first thing they put on TV is he had 100 sacks. I want them to put that he was a man of the people. He was a man of his community. He changed. I want my kids to wake up every day and want to inspire to challenge the world and take on different tasks. That's my legacy. I want my legacy to be to inspire kids, not to motivate them, because I believe that motivation is simply a daily thing. You have to be motivated every day. I think when you inspire somebody, you change their life. I want to be able to change people's lives. I want to wake up every day and figure out, how can I change the world? How can my family change the world? And how can my kids change the world? And that's what I want my legacy to be. I don't really care about sports that much anymore, because
Michael Bennett, thank you for the example that you are.
Thank you. I want to thank my wife, because my wife is...
And she's here.
She's back there.
And she's here. Is your brother here too?
I don't know if my brother, he was coming, but I like to thank my wife simply because to be in this position, you have to have a great woman. You have to have a woman with strength. Because I'm just saying, because I'm called to go around the world. It's not like I'm around the world. And my wife is with me all the time, and we have to raise a family together. And to be able to have a woman that believes in you and believes in the message, and who's just as equally as a leader as you, because I'm just up here simply because of my name. But my wife could be simply up here the same too, speaking on the same issues. But together, we've built something together. And I think together, I want to show that example that when a man and a woman, as a wife and a couple, can create difference, you see great things. And I want to inspire people to do that. You have to make sure, as we are leaders, to make sure that we take care of our family at home and make sure that's not the only thing we do. We have to lead our families too.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.